Hello, ladies and gentlemen, it's I, Taylor Field, and I am here today because I've not been on the past couple of newscasts, and that is very unfortunate, but that is a-okay because now I am here, and I am here because there is a great game that has kind of just graced us with its presence, and that game in particular is Predator Hunting Grounds. So, I'm going to be giving you a spoilers in-depth review. I guess it's not really spoilers because there isn't really a story to it, so it's just going to be a very in-depth review, kind of covering the baseline, the mechanics, and all that kind of stuff. Um, if you haven't tried this game out, it's definitely something I think everyone definitely should, give it a shot, try it out. I think it is just, it's one of those games where you can just kind of jump right into it. But before I jump literally into the trees with this game, I'm just going to do a couple shout outs. Make sure you check us out on our social media, Facebook, because we got the Clone Wars poll going on, ladies and gentlemen. Just came off of a crazy two-tie streak between Boba Fett and Darth Bane, which is wild. But Boba Fett took the win, and now we are in the next round on that poll with Ahsoka Tano versus Mace Windu. Other than that, check out our Patreon. We got a lot of awesome exclusive content on there. We got commentary tracks. We've got the Spider-Man commentary track between me, Travis, and Kirkland. That'll be coming up soon. I can't remember which tier it is, but it is there. We also got a Rotterdam anniversary episode on there. We got a few other awesome, cool things. I believe some After Nines are on there as well. And just, shout outs to all of our Patreon supporters that I haven't been on the past couple of newscasts, so I haven't been able to answer all your questions, but, just the fact that you guys have been, up in your tiers and just even new people jumping to Patreon, supporting us, that's just absolutely fantastic. All this stuff, it's for, you've probably heard it already enough, but you're going to hear from me. All this stuff, it's for you guys. You guys, what motivate us to get up, every day in the morning. You motivate me to brush my teeth and put on my Predator mask and go to work and not get fired. But so, anyways, thank you for all you guys that just you chime in, you interact with us, and you kind of keep the spirit of the Geekverse alive. And we can't thank you enough for that. It's awesome and incredible. So, shout outs to all you guys out there. So, yeah, other than that, I can't think of any other shout-outs to do. So, let's get into it. Predator Hunting Grounds. Yeah, as I said, this is a game I think everyone should definitely try. It's fun, it's enjoyable, and when I first booted it up and played it on my computer, I realized, okay, this is definitely not what I was expecting. I just watched a lot of gameplay videos and was just kind of reading into it and all that kind of stuff, and I didn't realize the in-depth amount of features or mechanics the game actually employed, and it kind of caught me off guard, but in a very, very good way. So, in my first game, there's always people that are gonna have problems with games, and I understand that. And Friday the 13th was definitely no exception. When that game first came out, it was absolutely horrendous, but it was worth the wait. The thrill and the experience that you could have playing that game was just absolutely fantastic, and remains to date one of my most favorite multiplayer games of all time. It's so many good memories, so many just awesome times with that game, and it made the enduring of the queue times worth it. This game, I've had hardly any problem queuing. Predator is probably a minimum 3-4 minute wait, no problem whatsoever. Is that, and even then, I don't feel like there's I don't feel like there's a need to always play as a Predator. I like playing as the Fireteam and the humans, and I like that you can choose no preference, or you can be specific and prefer which one you want to play as, and you get to play as it. And I like that option. It's very nice. But yeah, I find myself for the most time just going Fireteam. I like talking to people online, and I like being able to coordinate and figure out what to do. And I've realized, yes, during the trial that the Predator took a lot of damage and dies really fast, but I'm also realizing now, and maybe, everyone has a different experience, I understand that, so this is just my perspective and my opinion on this matter specifically. I have met a lot of people playing as Predator online, and they don't know what they're doing. I don't know if they have the right mentality of how to handle the scenario as a Predator. When you get into that role, you need to properly think, okay, how am I going to play this out? You can just jump down and start swinging away, but how is that really gonna go? You're landing in into the middle of a fire team that will decimate you. It's not the right thing to do. The reason you're given your plasma caster, you're given all these different tools to start off with, is that it's putting you in a position where you are you're playing smart and strategically, whether you're trying to pull people away from the main group or you're just trying to like outflank them or outmaneuver them, just use ways that you haven't thought of before. It's not just your typical run and gun shoot 'em up game or whatever. This is a very much a game where I pulled a lot of my kind of background with Assassin's Creed into this. I love the multiplayer in Assassin's Creed games, and it's something that I've put so many hours into. And so when I take that and apply it to this, I think, okay, you're on the ground, you're dead. Unless you are playing as the Berserker class and you've got like amped up, your perks, taking less damage from bullets, increased melee damage, all that stuff, then that's fine. I'm sure you could probably kill everyone. But for when you're just starting out, these predators, they got the hunter classes have the high stamina, so you want to stay in the trees. You want to be moving constantly. You want to put your perks, invest them into, points for, faster energy regeneration, making sure your shield, or not your shield, your cloak is like always on par and you can just pop that on. Don't rely on your thermal as much as you probably are. Personally, I find that I'm not using it as much as I am. I only use it for like the long range, like scanner, so you can get a sense of direction where they are. Because it is quite crazy how fast the fire team can actually move. It's actually bonkers how fast they can just leave the area. But for the most part, I just kind of let the AI humans down below kind of tell me where they are and where they're shooting at, and I use that as kind of my direction, like compass, I guess. But again, it's all preference of like how you choose to play and what you're doing. This is just like my play style and my experience. So I'm definitely the kind of guy that kind of like lurks through the trees, pop a couple quick shots. The fact that you can use this net gun, it totally changes the pace of battle for me. So when you like have your team, the fire team's like splitting up or kind of doing separate things, you can just hide in a tree, pop a net gun, jump down, pop a net gun one more time on him to keep him there, and then you can just melee him to death and he's gone. And pick your battles too when you're gonna pull that skull out. I usually just do a quick pop, don't do a long one. And my problem though with most predators is that they just drop down right in front of you and they just go to fight you. And I've been playing a lot of this with my Rudderknock co-host Ruben, and he considers that when the predator self-destructs, that it's not a win for the predator. And in this, I've always looked at it in the movies like, when the predator self-destructs, he's getting the last laugh. It's his, his way. And, in this sense, like, you can outrun the blast radius, which I think is super cool. But, if you die as a predator, then yeah, I do believe it in this sense. Like, you're not winning. Even if you're self-destructing, you don't get it as a win, in my opinion. So, and even then, if you do try to self-destruct, another thing that caught me off by surprise is the fact that as the fire team, you can actually decipher the predator's gauntlet, and you can actually deactivate the bomb, and then you have to secure the predator body while an enemy fire team comes in and tries to take the body, destroy the body, which I thought was super cool. When me and Ruben were playing, we actually killed the predator. We shoot off the biomask and everything, and then he's down, and the bomb was about to go off. And Ruben and all of them, like, they evacuated up the helicopter, and I managed to get the last key and fast enough on the key on his wrist pad, and then it was like, okay, I'm gonna secure the predator body. I'm not going in the helicopter yet. And the helicopter flew away, and Ruben's like, I'm sorry, I should have stayed with you. And it's like, all good. So at that point, then I whipped out like my minigun, and there's so many dudes coming at me, and I just lay down suppressive fire. And it was just such a thrilling experience, just to kind of like hold out on my own with this predator body and just trying to hope I get it. And I did get it, so definitely racked up the kills and the XP that game. But those kind of like certain moments are definitely what feel that nostalgic kind of rhythm for me with this game. There were many times where I'm looking for the predator in the trees, and you see him and he's running, and you just pull out that minigun, and you're just laying that fire down into all the trees up above. It's so cool. And you're blowing ammo, but you don't care. It's a lot of fun. It's just to like try and blast the predator out into oblivion. But yeah, I find that if you're playing smart as a predator and you're playing to your advantage and know your strengths, know your perks, know how to use your weapons effectively and efficiently, then you're not gonna die. You're gonna last a long, long time. We've had so many times where the predator doesn't die, but we, the fire team, escape. It's just about picking your moments. It's predator. It's what they do. They don't just jump in and just go ham. They pick the select time to do what they're gonna do. and yeah, it pays off. So on that note of the Predator, you know, the weapons that you have access to just blow my mind. I like how they have like the plasma caster, like handgun, shotgun kind of thing. Handheld plasma caster is pretty cool. They got the regular shoulder mounted one. They got the smart discs. They got the spear. They got the Yautja bows. You know, all of these things are super cool. They got the Elder Blade. I love how you can just kind of cycle through all your weapons. It's super cool. I like how you have the different perks. And not to mention the customization options for the Predators is absolutely mind-blowing. You can play as female Predators, which I think is super, super cool, because I know there's lots of Predator comics, and I don't personally read them, so I haven't actually seen a female Predator before. I've only read about them because I did a Predator documentary when I was little, so I did this whole hour-long documentary. I'll have to see if I find it on disc somewhere, but I covered like their species of the Yautja, their weaponry, all that kind of stuff, and their ships and everything. But in this, like, I've never seen a female one before, so to see like the defining features of like the male having more of like a poofed out jawline, and it looked like kind of like more like a not a smaller, but just a more poofed out kind of like a dome skull, and then the females had like a much more thinner jawline, and their eyes seemed lower, and they had a much more prominent forehead. It was super cool to see that kind of like difference between the two. And again, changing of like the skin types, having all the different skins that you can go through as a Predator, which is so cool. I'm not talking like different aesthetic armor skins and all that stuff. I mean the actual skin detail, like going through like their patterns on their skin, which is so cool. And then you can change their armor designs, which is so cool. You can put different paint jobs on their helmets, their biomasks, which is super neat. You can change their predlocks, which is super cool. So it just blew me away the amount of customization that you could do. I'm a huge fan of the 2010 Alien vs. Predator game. I thought that was a really, really good experience, and I loved how you kind of amp up your Predator in that Predator campaign and that story. I thought it was a lot of fun, especially the customization of him in the story progressive aspect, along with the weapons. So not really you customizing him in that front, but in the campaign sense, I liked what you could do, but I wish that there was always a game that kind of amplified on that, and this game is definitely that. You know, the customization just blows it out of the water for, as far as I'm concerned, any other Predator game in terms of customization, so kudos to Phonic for that. On top of that, it's just the, I mean, I got the 87 Jungle Hunter, which is pretty cool. The classes are neat, seeing the Berserker, and then you got the Scout and like the Hunter. So using them and employing their different abilities to your advantage is very important. Yeah, jump through the trees, you know, using those perks and everything, audio devices. So a lot of really cool things. And the Predator just, it's so cool. I like how the main game multiplayer match feels like, okay, you're just a fire team doing your own objectives with this own kind of linear story, and the Predator is just there trying to kill you and disrupt you. So I like that element a lot. It was definitely a change up from what I was expecting. So on that front, in terms of the fire team, personally, I think that the fire team is so much fun. I love coordinating with my teammates. I love, you know, figuring out where to go, what to do. I love having these different quests and all these different, I believe 3 maps to start. So you have 3 maps, and there's all these different objectives you can do, finding Veritanium and all that stuff on the map, getting different weapons and everything, customizing, and it's just nice. I like that the element of loot boxes in this is nice, and it doesn't give you more of like an in-game advantage. All it does is just kind of give you cool skins, shaders, all that kind of stuff, which is very, very cool. So it eliminates the pay-to-play option, obviously, but the the skins and everything and the customization of, you know, your characters is super, super cool. Really, really enjoy that. I've put a little bit of like the Veritanium points into customizing my human, so I had like a cool human just off the bat, and I could just leave him at that, and I could stockpile my Veritanium points to invest into Predator stuff, because there's a lot of Predator customizations things that I really, really want to get. It's just so cool. So yeah, playing more as the human, and I've done a lot of games with Ruben as humans. So yeah, that was a lot of fun. We're just coordinating and talking back and forth, trying to figure out what to do, and like all of a sudden the Predator will just run into the room, and we just gotta like team up and gun him down. You know, doing the optional objectives, finding cool little hidden things, and even the wildlife that's running around that you can actually like, you can kill the boars and everything, which is super cool for some reason. Just huge. I feel like in terms of Ilphonic kind of like coming up from, I don't know much about their history. I know that they were obviously working on this game that was like it was supposed to be like Friday the 13th, but wasn't Friday the 13th. Then they got the license for it, and then they made it Friday the 13th, which is just great. I love that. And then they just jumped up into this. Now, do I agree that it should be a full price game of like a AAA title? No, I think this game should have off the hop been like $40. I know it's 39 American, but Canadian dollars for us, it's a little bit more expensive. And I wish that it was, you know, like 29 American and 39 Canadian, because I that would have been like prime. I feel like for a game like this, and how, yes, it is small, it's got a lot of replayability value to it in my opinion, but I do feel like it's not worth the full price that it is. So I would definitely, if you do want to have interest in playing this, I mean, unless you're a huge supporter of Ilphonic and want to support them and their upcoming, you know, ventures, then by all means dive into it. But you could probably wait till it goes on sale or something like that. That would probably be the best decision in regards to getting this game. But yeah, the fact that they just popped off with this game and have like a pretty fluid shooter, it just kind of blows my mind, because like the mechanics and everything are pretty good, you know, in terms of like gunplay, gunfights, gameplay, and all that stuff. It's really, really nice. The Predator gameplay, all in all, is just seamless. The transition between jumping through the trees, jumping up trees, running from branch to branch is just fluid, in sync, very, very nicely done. And then playing as a fire team, you know, it's a little choppy. I could play with the mouse and keyboard, but I just plug in my handy dandy Master Chief Xbox One controller, and I just play with that. So I have like on the HUDs, it's got like PS4 controller button recommendations, but I'm using an Xbox controller, so it's weird to be playing like this PS4 game on a PC with an Xbox controller. But you know, that's the world we live in now, so why not? But yeah, the mechanics overall and just playing as a fire team, it's just super cool. I love all the different, as I said, objectives and everything you can kind of get caught up in as time goes throughout your match. I like how the time doesn't really run out really, really fast, but it kind of like definitely gets you into the right mindset. Like, okay, we can't hunt the predator, we got to get out of here. But you know, when you do find the predator and you do, you know, kill him, shoot off his biomask, and then you can like get his body, it's just super exciting. So I've met a couple like cool people online playing it that are like super like coordinated and everything like that. They don't want to leave you behind. I love the mud aspect, that you don't have to go to a certain area to mud up. You can just go and look down on the ground anywhere and you just like mud yourself and then you're covered. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, the weapons like the minigun, shotgun, the knife, all these different things, like sniper rifle. I love using the sniper, that's fun, but overall it's very, very nice. I'm very excited to see what they come up with next for this game, whether it's more maps, more customization options, who knows. You know, obviously Friday the 13th, they're still putting out like updates for that game, bug tweaks and all that kind of stuff. Unfortunately, no new content. So I'm hoping that most of their, you know, time and money, you know, that they get, they'll be able to flush into this game. And, you know, here, this is something that I want people to remember, you know, the wise words of Taylor Field, for whatever they're worth. But, you know, everyone hated on Star Wars Battlefront 2. And that game came out, it had a rocky road, but they listened to the fans, they tried so hard, and now look where they are. They have made actually an incredible Star Wars game that's just about to release. Scarif, Rey with a yellow lightsaber that you can swing around with in game, you know, like all these different things. They've had so much Clone Wars content into that game, all free. You know, they've worked so hard at trying to rebuild that relationship with the gaming community, and I respect that and admire that tenfold. So I've seen a lot of hate on for this game, and I understand that because I've seen a lot of problems, but just, you know, for a lot of these game developers, I'd say nowadays, hold your breath. You know, they know that to piss off the community or do something wrong is the death of them. And if they knowingly do it, then it's their fault. But for the most part, when a game comes out and we, the people, play it, we're their best source of feedback. So, you know, you go out and you just put all this hate out there, it's not really going to help. You know, just send messages to the developers, you know, send information to Ilphonic, give them feedback, give them advice, and they'll listen. These companies, they'll take your word and they'll try and like incorporate it into the game and make a better, you know, project for us. So that's all I have to say. You know, don't doubt, but just, you know, spread some love. So yeah. But I think that's all I have to say. Other than that, it's a fun game, and it's a crossplay between PC, PS4, which is great, and it's a game I'm gonna be playing for a little bit here. So, yeah, I would give this game, for me, the nostalgic, unbiased opinion, I would give it probably a 7 out of 10, and that's mostly because it's got a heavy 2 points of nostalgia right in there, and 5 points of unbiasedness. So for me, it's a great experience, and I like what they brought to the table. And again, it comes down to preference, perspective, opinion. When it comes to the game itself, even playing as a predator and your methods of madness, for engaging in combat and hunting. So, yeah, I do hope if you do invest your money into this game, you enjoy it, and it definitely does everything you want it to do. I'm sure there's more to come. It sounds like there's going to be free DLC in the future for this game, which is pretty cool. And yeah, so that is all I have for this day of Taylor's solo cast on Predator Hunting Grounds. I hope you enjoyed my quick little 20-something minute ramble about it, and I look forward to seeing you next time in the search bar. So, have a good one, stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you later. Bye.